Hello, everybody, and welcome to this webinar with me, Joshua. And I'm just going to close the window. Sorry, there's a bit of background noise. Okay, so welcome to this webinar with me on interactive training with Beekast. I'm Joshua, and we'll also be with the lovely Julie in marketing, who will be answering all of your questions rather. So I hope all of you are connected and can see the screen which I've shared with you here. Okay, so whilst everyone's just arriving, I'd like to just invite all of you to join this session with me. So you can see at the top there, it says to participate, go to www.beekast.live and enter the session code WEB2503. Okay, so all in lowercase, and we're just using Livestorm for the purposes of this webinar, mainly for the recording side of things. Everything else, of course, will be within Beekast, as that is the purpose of this webinar, to show you how you can make your training sessions more interactive. Okay, so hopefully lots of you are now logged in to Beekast. Give people a little bit more time just in case. So we can start and proceed now. So yeah, as you can see here, the focus will be how you can make your training sessions more interactive. I'm kind of going to just assume that all of you understand the need for that in this current context, when a lot of people talk about Zoom fatigue or MS Teams fatigue and so forth. So I'm just going to have a look, see how many people we have connected. Okay, so I can see lots of you are connected already. This is, yeah, so you can see the instructions here as well. I'm going to invite all of you to post all of your questions, by the way, as we go along in the discussion forum. Okay, and we'll have lots of opportunities to answer all of your questions. So really, I would invite you to be as inquisitive as possible. Really, don't be shy. Feel free to ask any questions. And yeah, so just to give you a bit more background before we begin. So as mentioned, interact as much as possible during this webinar. Ask questions on the discussion wall, as we've said. Feel free to use the like functionality as well on other people's questions. If you think that they're particularly relevant, then of course, if we get loads, the ones that with the most likes will be prioritized naturally. And as I've already mentioned, yeah, Julie will answer all of your questions. Okay, so to give you a bit more, so we're going to be using the example of time management just to show you how a training session would work within Beekast, and we'll talk more about that later. And yeah, so goals of the webinar. Really, I want you to experience as much as possible how you can make your training sessions more interactive with Beekast. In the, I guess, well, one of the main parts to this webinar will be me actually demoing how it works from the facilitator or trainer point of view within Beekast. Beforehand, of course, though, as you can see on this second bullet point, I really want you to experience Beekast as the participant or trainees, if you like. So there'll be an opportunity for you to participate in activities with me as we go along, so you can really experience Beekast. So let's go. Quick question. I'm going to just start up an activity. I'm very curious to see who's used Beekast before. This is just our survey activity. And yeah, I've opened that. You can participate. We can see the results are feeding in nicely in real time, which is pretty cool. Again, to those of you who have just joined us now, you can see at the top there it says to participate. Go to www.beekast.live and then enter the session code WEB2503. Okay, leave that open for a few more seconds. And yeah, I mean, as you can see, I'm running a live session, Beekast for training sessions. You can also use it for non-live sessions as well. You're really in control of that as the trainer. Okay, I'm going to stop this activity now. And you can see the results already. Okay, so I can see some of you have used Beekast before. That's encouraging. And for those of you who are totally new, fear not, this is the perfect introduction. Just to go back on this, I mean, I could also present the results in a bar format, donut, or pie chart, as you can see there. Okay, I'm going to, again, keep it as interactive as possible, coherent with the theme itself. I'm going to start another activity, really. So what are you expecting from this webinar? So yeah, send in your ideas, guys. As participants, you'll be able to see it's very straightforward and simple to use. Just the button, send an idea, and then you can do that. So yeah, I really want to know what your expectations are. This will help us. Again, if there are some new ideas here where we'd not, planned things that we'd not planned to show you in this webinar, that's really, really helpful, as it will help us plan future webinars that will really answer all of your needs. So I can see, yeah, discover Beekast for my training. Cool, makes sense. You're in the right place. Practical examples, yeah, you'll see lots of that. Learn new tips and tricks, we'll touch on that. It's more of an introductory webinar, so I'll give you my email address afterwards if you need more guidance to take things to the next level. How to create activities, that will be the demo part at the end. Well, second main part of this webinar, where you can see how to actually set things up from the trainer point of view. Inspired, we'll touch on that for sure. Beekast actually has its own inspiration site. We'll talk more about that in due course. And okay, lots of these I can see are, some of these are the same, relating to creating activities, how to actually host training sessions themselves. Cool. That will be the main focus of this webinar. Brilliant. Glad people are here with the right objectives. So I'm going to now stop this activity. And yeah, I could have run a voting tool, by the way, if I wanted to on the idea board, but chose not to for that particular one. So you're really in control of these interactive activities as a trainer. Okay, so we've already spoken about this, but just to hammer it home. So goals of this webinar is to give you a preview or teaser, if you like, for Beekast's potential for running your interactive training sessions. And you'll see again how to create these sessions from the host point of view. I'll focus on some of the classic activities that you would want to use. And yeah, how to ensure that the training sessions are really fun, fresh, and dynamic, showing you Beekast's inspirations, which we spoke about a few moments ago. Advantages of using Beekast now. So those of you who we saw in the first activity who have used Beekast before will know some of these already, but those who are totally new may not. So first one is fairly obvious. I mean, as you saw earlier, you get real-time feedback. So it changes the whole vibe, if you like, of the training sessions, rather than people giving quite dry feedback at the end of a training session. You can really adapt your training sessions in real time and make them as organic and dynamic as possible, which again really ties into creating a nice dynamic learning environment so that you can attract the best talent to your businesses. Number two, we've got everyone participates, even the shyest of people. That's really important. Yeah, really, really important point. So that it's not he or she who shouts loudest in training sessions who really dominates the chance to speak. You're really using tech to facilitate a more democratic way of sharing who participates in your training sessions. And again, you saw that in the previous activity. So encourage individual reflection is good as well, because you almost force people to participate, albeit crucially in a fun, light-hearted way. And yeah, so creating engagement. You can also track individual and group progress. We'll talk more about this later, but that's again really, really important for, I imagine there are a lot of trainers who are present in this webinar. So that's obviously one of your priorities. I've myself worked a lot in teaching and education, so I know how important it is for you to monitor individual progress, but as well as the overall group progress, so that you can make sure that all of your training sessions have clear objectives which are achievable. And yeah, you can see Beekast works on site and remote, of course. So again, we can talk more about that later, but it's really ideal to use in this fully remote space, but also moving forward as things become hybrid as well. You can see it's easy to adapt your training sessions. You'll see that through experiencing it later on and through witnessing the demo part of things. And yeah, really, Beekast helps you facilitate real, meaningful discussions and debates to basically add value to either the people who are being trained, but also from the teaching point of view. And again, I use Beekast for some of the teaching that I do freelance, and it's more enjoyable for the teachers and trainers as well, and anyone really hosting any meeting or training session. Okay, so I'm just going to take some questions quickly, keep it as interactive as possible. I'm going to go to the discussion forum. And do you always close your activities before switching to the next one? Great question from Hérisson Chouette. It creates fun names for people, by the way. You can set up that setting if you want to. So the answer is no, I chose to close the activities. You're in total control for these live sessions. It's up to you. I recommend doing it for live sessions when you're doing Beekast sessions with people who are new, because they may not have, you don't want to confuse them. One activity open at a time is quite a nice way to get maximum participation, avoid confusion. Are there any best practices to facilitate a meeting when people are half on remote and half on site? That's quite a big question. Definitely there are lots of those. Beekast really guides you, and that's really why we have such an amazing customer success team that really guides you on how to get the most out of it. So I'm not going to go into too much depth on that, but it will become apparent in due course. And again, feel free to email me if you want a more in-depth answer to that. And yeah, so thanks for these questions so far. So interactive training experience with Beekast. Okay, so we'll start with an icebreaker in due course very soon. Firstly though, so as we've already mentioned, so today's topic, just as an example for a training topic, is time management. And yeah, so I'm going to go to an icebreaker now. And yeah, by the way, just to clarify, the reason why we chose time management as the topic for an interactive training session is because it's one which is very universal and all of you can relate to this topic, me, me myself included. Okay, we're going to go to an icebreaker now, which is a great way to start your training sessions. And yeah, so why would you want to do an icebreaker, you might ask? So it's pretty important to establish a trusting environment in which people really feel comfortable so that people will actually participate in the training session itself. Yeah, I guess a lot of you will already be convinced why you might want to have an icebreaker, so we don't need to dwell on that too much. You'll see what I mean when I show you the one we're going to do now. But yeah, you can use well, I'll show you the word cloud in a few moments, but there are loads of other ones that you can do for icebreakers using Beekast. You can do surveys. I did one earlier, actually, who has used Beekast before. You can even import video content within your Beekast session itself and get everyone to, so that is playing for the participants as they arrive to really pump people up at the beginning of the training session. Okay, so I've just started my own icebreaker here, and it is, what does time management mean to you? So just going to leave this open for a few moments, and I'm going to invite all of you to just send in your words there, and they will just feed in real time. You'll see as we get more contributions that the most popular words will appear larger automatically. So it's quite nice from the trainer point of view, so you can immediately visualize what the general consensus in a room is. So yeah, just give you a few more seconds to send in your answers to this question. No stress, precious time, efficiency, okay, making everyone more focused. Yeah, definitely agree with these. Seems as if stress and well, the fact that you want to eliminate or reduce stress and enhance efficiency are fairly shared viewpoints for this. I would agree with you. Cool, give you a few more seconds. And I've now stopped that activity. Okay. We can see that, if I want to display the results in this type of representation, I can do so here, or simply with the word cloud itself. Okay, so obviously sharing knowledge is something that is crucial for all trainers, I would imagine. And yeah, the goal is to get everyone on the same page by encouraging them to reflect and ask questions. So yeah, as we've already mentioned, so you've got the possibility of creating Beekast slides. This is a Beekast slide where I've added the content itself, but you can also fully import all of your PowerPoint presentations and PDFs, as well as adding your own videos from, well, in MP4 format, or videos hosted by YouTube, Vimeo, and Dailymotion, really to share knowledge. Okay, moving on. Why manage your time, you might ask? So you can see here, of course, to have a better overview and more clarity, to create more time for reflection, as we saw in your answers in the word cloud, to manage stress and to get rid of it and avoid it, to find more freedom as well. If you find that you're managing time effectively, you'll find that often you have more time because you don't waste time, and crucially, to ensure that you reach your goals in a more logical, systematic, goal-driven way. So step one then is to really identify what is stealing our time and where really we're wasting all of our time. So personal time thieves, if you like. And these are really what I'm directly responsible for. For example, scrolling through social media multiple times per day, poor planning for my day with unclear objectives, all of these things. They're really, I guess, internal things where we lose time. And then you've, of course, got the more external things or things that we can't control as easily when, for instance, you get requests from others inside or outside of the company. Or for instance, meetings that are too long or that aren't even relevant to you often happens when people find themselves in a meeting and they ask themselves, well, why am I even here? Interruptions from your internal communications platforms like Slack and MS Teams and so forth, and poorly managed conflicts as well often happens in businesses when people do things at the last, plan things at the last minute, so you've got zero minutes between meetings. Never ideal. Yeah, so you really want people to become aware of what's holding him or her back so that you can really help them to achieve their professional goals. We're gonna, moving on, making this interactive as possible, of course, really important. Don't know if you people are familiar with the universal laws in order to, so I want you to rank these universal laws in order of which impact upon your time management most. And yeah, so yeah, just simply list the actions and then rank them in order of most important to yeah, least important. So I've just started this activity. So you simply drop and drag these and then click submit. Okay, so whilst you're doing that, yeah, I'll just let that run for a few moments. And you can see that that is updating nicely in real time. Okay, I'm going to now close this activity. Apologies for those who didn't get time to answer. Obviously, the advantage of this, though, is with having the activities open and closed in that way, you ensure that the training session really moves forward quickly and with clear focus. Perfect. So we've got the results there that you can see nicely. Okay, and yeah, so you've ranked your tasks already, you can see that. Okay, so you've just participated in that. And okay, so I'm not going to play this video, but this is a nice video on the jar of life, and basically just so yeah, from the training point of view, what you would do is you can really insert educational and training content, but between the Beekast activities and imported content in a live training session or non-live one that you're running, get people to watch it in advance or during the session, and then afterwards you can have interactive activities on that. I'm obviously not going to play that now because you could do that in your own time. But yeah, so this video is about what happens when people do things in the wrong order, and as participants, you can play that now as you're following this session with me if you want to. And yeah, it explains that when people start with the least important things, this is really the image of the little blue pebbles that we can see there. So that these things really take up a lot of time during the day, and yeah, if people do things in the wrong order, then they don't do the tasks that are most urgent and are the most important, represented by the bigger rocks. So you've got this image of the small rocks there that are just kind of obstacles to the important tasks that you need to do. So yeah, when people get home from work with this type of work approach, they often feel tired, because they constantly feel overwhelmed from you can see how many small rocks and small pebbles there are there, representing the number of tasks. So they feel totally overwhelmed from the workload, and then when they finish work, they might feel lethargic and lacking in energy, and not necessarily feel as if they've achieved much with their day, purely from having focused on the less priority tasks. So yeah, can be a catastrophic error. Yeah, so it also creates stress, and it's also going to make people more likely to burn out, all because they didn't do things in the right order. Okay, so we've spoken about this already, but yeah, so it's really just a question of prioritizing what's the most important thing to do and how that really will help you with time management. And we've spoken about this already, yeah. So what happens when you do things in the wrong order? Okay. And this is what the jar looks like when things are done in the right order. So you can see, compare the previous one is, overflowing, totally overwhelmed. And then this one, you can see it's a lot more orderly and organized. So you do the things that are important to you, you do them in the right order, and the things that are really imperative or crucial are the things that you do first. Simple. Okay, so step 3, try out a time management technique. So for instance, list the actions to avoid being overwhelmed, I guess. And yeah, so here are a few, here are a few simple and effective ways to better manage your time starting tomorrow. So firstly, create a to-do list, so with important, urgent, and less important actions. So what we've just looked at. Stop multitasking. So block pop-ups, turn off email and phone notifications. And then also the eat that frog analogy. Don't know if you're familiar with that. It's the Brian and Tracy time management method, supposedly. So the principle is simple. Start with the task that you dislike most, which is often sometimes the most urgent thing that you need to do. It's funny how that works out, obviously not always. So that's one time management technique. And then there's the Pomodoro technique. Don't know if you're familiar with that. Developed by Francesco Cirillo in the late 1980s. So yeah, this method is based on using a timer to divide time into typically 25-minute blocks or periods, if you like, called pomodori, or tomatoes in Italian. And maybe, I don't know where the origin is for this, but maybe it comes from the fact that you can slice tomatoes up very, very easily. And the idea is you're really slicing up your time like that. So 25-minute, bam, smash out my work, and then 5-minute break. So really doing it in blocks like that. It's very structured and organized. So yeah. And sorry. Yeah, so also another technique is when you really just take time out in those breaks and have the time really, or take the time to reconnect with yourself. Some people do yoga. Some people do breathing exercises. Personally, I like to go for a hard run or sprint from my flat to the Sacré-Cœur, and it's quite nice. I usually, it's good to find a if you're going to break up your day in that way, do something that helps you feel more energized afterwards when you start the work again. So yeah, breaking up time in blocks that are really manageable. Okay, so going to look at now how you can, in the training context, ensure that messages really stick with participants, help people to really, yeah, really absorb the key concepts from a training session. So yeah, I've already shared a couple of basic or rudimentary techniques to help you manage your time better. So yeah, I'm going to mix things up now, and so yeah, I'm going to start an activity, a challenge activity, to help. I just want to get you to participate as much as possible, keep it interactive. And this is a challenge tool on Beekast, on time management and on essential things to remember. So I've just started this. You can see it's got a nice countdown. And now all of you lovely participants can answer. So let this run, and yeah, I'm just going to leave that open for a few moments. So I mean, we've got the progress there that we can see 35%. So as people answer these questions, so what can I do better to manage my time? What is Parkinson's law? This is the podium that I've displayed as we go along. It's just updating in real time. This is really, really helpful for training purposes. And you can see that there's a nice component of gamification in Beekast as well for your interactive training sessions or courses. And yeah, we've got the individual leaderboard here. Koala Éblouissant is top there. Congrats. And yeah, the algorithm is based on whether you get the answer right, but also how long it takes for you to answer all of the questions. Okay, cool. So, by the way, worth mentioning, so you've seen that we can progress people, sorry, we can monitor people's progress there using the podium functionality. Worth mentioning as a side note, you can create teams as well. These are individual efforts, but you can make people so they have to join a team when they jump into a Beekast session for training. And that really helps with team building in the training context. You can also, there's the option of, so basically, the more you participate in Beekast's interactive activities, you collect bees as you go through these activities and participate. And yeah, you can project as well the amount of bees that participants have collected as you go along. Okay, so by the way, so on another side note that's important, you'll have all of this data in the comprehensive reports that are provided by Beekast. That's really very important for trainers. So you can monitor progress and where people are at in a quantitative manner, crucially, and also compare how engaging your training sessions were from one week to another. Okay, so yeah, I mean we've spoken about this already. So tracking progress, and yeah, I mean it's really important because it helps you ensure that everyone in the group, well, is motivated and really identify those who need help and how they need help to ensure that everyone in the training session advances together with a real collective sense of purpose and drive. So, dum, 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 dum. We will have a few moments for questions later on, by the way. So in the next activity, like to know how you feel after these tips on time management. I'm just going to start that now. We'll do another activity afterwards. So yeah, really just want your feedback for this. So how do you feel after these tips on time management? And yeah, sorry, this is with the selfie wall functionality. Should have specified that. My apologies. You can see in the instructions here that we've added those, and you can see share your feelings in an image or picture, and yeah, those images appear in real time. You will get a nice mosaic representation of that afterwards, which appears in the automatically generated report. Perfect. Awesome. I'm going to just stop that activity now. Apologies for those who didn't get a chance to answer, but yeah, so you can see what it looks like. You get everyone to answer, and now we've got a beautiful mosaic here of all of those participations, and with the image, merci, thank you for your participation. Cool. So we're gonna go to I'm gonna go to another activity. Again, just really want this to be as interactive as possible for you. And I'm gonna okay, I've just started off another survey, which I would invite all of you lovely participants to answer. And yeah, what action are you ready to take tomorrow? I should probably answer this myself. It's something which we can all work on, time management. So yeah, these are feeding in real time. And you can see on the bottom left there that you've got the figure updating of the number of participants as well, which is really helpful for the trainer. Cool. I'll leave that open for a few more moments, but not for too long because we've got other things to get through. So yeah, as you saw previously, I mean, you can display it as a bar, donut, or pie. My preference is for the donut. We won't speak about why, but you can probably hazard a guess. Yeah, I'm a chocoholic. So I'm going to stop that activity, and we're going to now go to Q&A. Thanks for everyone, by the way, participating in these activities with me. It does make these webinars more enjoyable for me. So thanks for that. And I'm going to answer these directly. So where did we get up to? Okay, so is this video draft live and others available into Beekast as suggestions? Good question. I think, yeah, so Julie's answered that already. So it's just an example. You can literally just copy and paste the link for any of them that you want to. And next one, webinar to learn using Beekast. Okay, we've got lots of comments on that already. This is just, so yeah, Natalia, this is just an example of time management. Obviously, just because it's a topic which everyone can relate to. Yeah, so just so you can see how Beekast would make your training sessions more interactive. And I was thinking this, okay, and then some more questions. How could the live be activated? Dum, dum, dum. So I'm just going to go to, sorry, I'm just looking at all of your questions here. So I'm just going to minimize, make this close, yeah, so that we can actually see them. Cool, perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna project these. So just gonna go to more of these questions. Sorry. How do you add YouTube videos? Simply copy and paste the link. So I'll show you that in the demo part, but you just add slide, scroll down, and yeah, simply copy and paste the link for that. Straightforward. How could the live be activated? So for the live, it's simply when you create a session, you've got two options: either participant control or facilitator control. If you want it to be live, you simply just tick the box facilitator control, then it's live. And then how many people can participate in the challenges at the same time? Um, we have the figure for that. I mean, it depends on optimum usage. It actually changes as the software becomes better and better. But last I knew, you could do that with. It actually also depends on the type of question. But if it's a multiple choice question, for instance, then that works with up to 1,000 participants. Don't take my yeah, that changes. I mean, anyone, if you want the up-to-date information on each activity, what the maximum max number of participants could be for optimum usage, then feel free to contact me directly on that, and I'll send you a nice chart. Okay, so thanks for your questions, and we're going to go to. We're going to go back to the presentation itself now. I'm just going to make this. Okay, perfect. Okay, so yeah, what is Beekast exactly? Well, I'm sure you've got a fairly good idea, but it's an easy to use web application and web platform whose goal is really to facilitate team collaboration, make it more effective, and really, yeah, make it more interactive. So it adapts to the context that you're facilitating. So whether it's training sessions, meetings, workshops, and even events, then it's used for all of those. And it helps you on a daily basis to really helps you set up your meetings so that it's in a sequential mode or one slide after the other. So really it structures your training sessions, meetings, workshops, and events for you. Yeah, anyone who's used PowerPoint can use Beekast, and yeah, you can easily add your presentations and then create your slides and add Beekast interactive activities to really facilitate collaboration and interaction, easy to use features, and get inspiration. So we've looked at that already, and integration. So yeah, you get the idea of what Beekast is, what it's used for in this context of Zoom fatigue and so forth. Interaction is one of the priorities. Collaboration, I would add as well, just to boost efficiency and do things in a more automated manner where you can, particularly for the automatically generated reports. Yeah, so the idea is that you use it with your existing tools. So obviously it's a totally different purpose from Zoom, which you use for the video conferencing side of things. So you would use Beekast. You can use Beekast as an integration into lots of your existing tools. You can see some of these. You know, we're all familiar with MS Teams, Moodle, Zoom, Skype, Google Meet, and so forth. So that's really important. Okay, so we're going to go to the demo part now. So where I am going to show you how you can create some Beekast interactive activities, really, to make your training sessions more interactive. So I am just going to exit the full screen so that you can see the back end. And okay, cool. So now you can see on my screen here the back end or host or trainer perspective for this. And I am going to just create some slides. So I'm going to start off with, so you can see here, when I click add a slide, these are the options that appear. So you've got the activities at the top here. So you can see these are some of the activities that we have. Word cloud, selfie wall, idea board, metaphor, canvas, survey, and many others. Yeah, the challenge you've participated in, that's really important for the training context. Multiple choice questions as well, ranking you've participated in one of those. So you can see these are some of the activities that you have. And yeah, I want to start off with by showing you how you import your content itself. So again, simply click add slide. So really straightforward, bottom right, and then scroll down, and then you would just import your PDF, PowerPoint, or video content there. So for the video, I simply would copy and paste the link, or upload it from my hard drive. Really simple. And yeah, so I'm now going to create a word cloud, just show you how to do that. So words, again, picking a topic that hopefully you can all relate to. Leadership is a classic topic which is dealt with in training sessions and workshops. So words to describe leader. You can see that you're in control of these. I'm just going to make it so you can send multiple words. I could add instructions if I wanted to. I'm not going to, not necessary for now. And yeah, so simple. I mean, I've set that up. And now if I start it, you can simply participate. Now, the beauty, one thing that I like, being a big fan of improvisation, and not because I'm disorganized, but because I like to adapt to people's needs in real time. The advantage of Beekast is that if you can literally set up activities and people don't know, you can set them up in real time, and the trainees or your clients or whoever will have no idea. So it creates a very organized image for you and your company. So words to describe a leader. Feel free to just participate in that with me if you want to. I'm going to leave that open, and I'm going to create another activity. So whilst you can participate in that, and okay, cool. Words are feeding in. But yeah, so I'm gonna show you multiple choice question because that's classic for training. So, what is the capital of Poland? And then you simply add answers there. I would select the correct answer. If anyone answers this incorrectly, I'll be very disappointed. I'm joking. So, and then yeah, you just click save and then it's there. It's very straightforward and simple. I'm going to close the previous activity because you've participated in that, and you can see here, if I now click start activity, then yeah, people can answer. And yeah, so you get the idea for that. And I've closed that already. I want to show you something else as well, because we've spoken about this already and it's important that you see it. We've spoken about the inspirations, okay? And what do we actually mean by that? Well, it's easier to just see it. When I'm setting up an activity, often, Monday morning at 7 a.m, I might not feel as inspired as I do on Friday at 4 p.m. And Beekast really is your personal coach, and you can select the filters there. So imagine that your goals are, let's say, share a vision, and you could change them as well, group size and so forth. I'm just going to leave it at that and click apply filters. And then it recommends 4 different templates that you can import. This is what I meant by the efficiency side of things. So you can import sessions, you can import activities. You can see here you can import from your existing templates that you've built yourselves. These are the ones that Beekast has built for you. If you click on see more, okay, just going to show you this quickly. It directs you towards Beekast's inspiration site, all from within Beekast. Simply, you saw I just clicked that there, and it gives you a nice explanation of how to run that activity, what the prerequisites are, how it works, and yeah, it really ensures that you get the most out of it. Obviously, it even tells you how much of a Beekast Pro you need to be to use it. You don't need to be an expert in training or in tech or running meetings or training sessions to use Beekast. It's slide based, so it's really, really straightforward to use, as you can see. So yeah, that's the template and inspiration side of things. I'll just do one more to show you one more very quickly. Actually, you've seen the word cloud already. I'm just going to show you the metaphor one, because this is a very nice one which you won't find elsewhere, and it's great for the training context as well. So if I were to have the rocket format, you could have, for instance, the title post COVID-19 training strategy, or anything that you need for your training session. This is just an example. And then simply you can enable polling. I'm going to enable you to allocate 15 points, stopwatch, and then you click start, and that one is there. Cool. So, and if I were to click start activity, then you can see we've got this beautiful design here of a rocket, and then your ideas would just feed in real time, and so we can see that. Thanks for participating. I'm going to run the polling tool actually very quickly afterwards, because this is something that really is very relevant to you. And then afterwards, it will be the end of the webinar. We'll wrap up, final Q&A. Okay, and I'm just going to start the polling now, and you simply click vote, and then you click on these plus and minus signs to allocate points to what you think are the most relevant ideas. Perfect. And then when I click stop polling, then I can, of course, project the results here, and you've got a nice breakdown. Okay, cool. So that's, before we go to the questions, sorry, there's just one final thing that I want to show you, which is the reporting side of things, which is really important. So again, this is the session host format that you can see here. Simply click on documents, and then simply click send, and then you or generate for these two, and then you've got 3 separate reports available. So this one is the meeting notes from the session with all of the data captured from your participants or trainees sent to you by email. Okay, so all of that data is there. The selfie wall that you saw appears as a beautiful mosaic. The word cloud again appears as an image. All of these do as well. Appear as images for the ones where it's a very visual activity, like the matrix one as well, which is a mapping tool, which I didn't show you, but you get the idea. All of the data is there, you have that, and then you use it afterwards. So it's sent to you via email. Okay, so that we just final part is just going to be questions, questions and answers. Prior to that, though, sorry, yeah. So just to summarise, and to give you a nice overview, you've seen how Beekast can make collaboration easier and more effective in your day-to-day work. You've hopefully seen it's easy to learn, and that there's a very wide range of activities to make your training sessions or meetings more interactive and engaging, and that you can adapt it easily to all contexts. There's a free account available with up to 3 participants, and then after that, you would go for one of the other various subscription types according to your needs. All of that's available on our website, and if you need more than one license, then obviously we have corporate plans available for packs of licenses where you would be in touch and have your own customer success manager. So yeah, it's flexible. Cool. So that was to summarize, and final part is questions and answers, really just wrapping up before I show you where you can have some additional resources to go further with this. So can Beekast be run within MS Teams, or will it always be a web browser? The answer is yes. We're integrated within Microsoft Teams. You can use Beekast as an integration within Teams. So you don't have to use it in a web browser. It's up to you. How do you put these questions on the screen? So that is because I am projecting them. I'm using the so you could see when I was showing you the back end and demo, you can see now on the screen that I'm showing, you've got this button here, projection, okay? And you've got the option of, you can project everything from, you can project all of these comments and questions, so forth, from the discussion forum by clicking that button there. So they're projected here, okay? Any more questions, guys? What is the added value to plug Beekast to Zoom or Teams? That's a really important question. And the added value is that it makes your life easier and it makes everyone else's life easier. And you don't want to be juggling between various providers, if you like, or solutions. So the idea is that by using them seamlessly integrated or connected together, it makes everyone's life easier, and that is going to save you time. So in materialistic terms, time is money, to use that slightly vulgar expression. Okay, doesn't look like there are any more questions. I guess that's probably because we had them as we went along. So I'm just going to finally direct you towards additional resources. So sign up for free using Beekast's, yeah, so you can sign up for free. Yeah, there is a wide range of resources available on our blog, and you've seen the inspiration site as well. And in addition, yeah, there's the help center as well, and you can contact the live chat with any questions. Again, depending on the subscription that you have, if you have a corporate license, then of course you would be prioritized by our staff. And I guess finally, yeah, if you want to, if you do have any questions, then you can feel free to email me, or the team. So my address is joshua.hayward@beekast.com. If you have any questions relating to the subscription side of things, I've posted that in the discussion, so you can see that. And yeah, thank you everybody for joining me and Julie today for this webinar on how to make your training sessions more interactive. Have an amazing day. Goodbye.